Abusia journalist bi ayade bi ewo TV so ama sesei de Ghana fo nyina no ebo na baso a enya asemketua NPP o NDC o obi bia o follow politics ewo oman ni mu dodo na no ebo na baso a omo kire senka journalist fo nyina no put up this kind of behavior anka enye ne se politicians ahodo a yewo ewo oman mu day in day out omutwa ntro ede kire omanfo no na omafo omo ho adi free no omo kire se sa behavior ya journalist yi aputi api wasenka journalist nka yefo aka nyina no ehwe no esua no nemom eni kwan se omo ye stomach journalist because amanfo bi kire mu a journalist bi a ewo honom no even though so omo be ye politicians for ni bi interviewer politicians for no mpo and set questions more say busam we na de bia no politicians no edi ntro e de kire omanfo na enya asanketua na enura na Samuel Okudzeto ablakwa ekopie mu ewo TV station ba ko a ye ni interview na ye busa ni views ewo enioma hodo a NDC amanyokue ba ye esisi ewo oman ni mu any past things a NDC amanyoko no ekan ya eye enedie according to journalists no susu se eye NDC amanyoko no dani oma no afri enioma 2024 elections no omode share Ghana for bo na eno na amanfo bebre kire mu a journalists no a disgrace Okudzeto ablakwa enya asenketo omo kire mu a wesenka sei na journalists nka ye ni nyina no omo follow no omo ye na eboa ema Ghana eye nkoso because in sama wodo a Samuel Okudzeto ablakwa ekan ye ewo 2024 elections a okotuna show ni so wo ye na adwen se in sama wodo no odane na no e de afiri ho ensam ni bi na efa Galamsey ho a Samuel Okudzeto ablakwa edi 15 solutions ebeto ho no mu a wo kire se sa 15 solutions we ebetimi aboa amaya solve Galamsey ewo man mu eno journalist no ekobusa no ho asem na ohwe ekwan ya Samuel Okudzeto ablakwa efa so etoto papa so na chese amanfo akansem ye babusia journalist no ene Samuel Okudzeto ablakwa enkomo a ekoso wo muntem nyina no ebia ba be kan Ayeka TV ensa yenso eba be bo awrem na yakwa akotie de ekoso nyina nje abusia be se wunya subscribe ya Ayeka TV so ni ani de kwan so na wa subscribe no asan so amia notification bell no se de be ya video bia upload ya no a first person na obenye bia hwe yembo wrem ni nkotie enkomo a ekoso ewo TV station ho nyina.
And not to pick on you, you listed 15 things you said Akufo-Addo could do to fight Galamsey. I don't have time to read all. I can only see about 3 that this government has done. You listed 15 things. One of which was you said something about what the embassy in China should do, which is directly related to you. But let me read about 3 of them. Instruct the Attorney General and IGP to discontinue the harassment of anti-Galamsey protesters. Well, there's no protest, so that's not an issue. Sack all regional ministers who have failed to prevent Galamsey as chairs of their respective regional security councils. Sack all MMDCs who have failed to stop Galamsey as heads of their respective municipal assemblies. Reshuffle ministers responsible for lands and natural resources, environment, science and technology, etc., etc. Recall all police commanders and national security operatives. Impose a 5-year ban on all forms of small-scale mining. Deploy the armed forces to protect our river bodies. Immediately stop the issuance of new mining licenses. Carry out a shake-up in Ghana's embassy in China. Launch an aggressive scientific Green Ghana campaign. Provide free comprehensive medical screening and treatment for all Ghanaians affected by Galamsey. Hefty fines on small-scale mining companies. Roadmap, a lot of things. I'm not even sure 20% of this has been done by this government.
We are about 8-9 months in office.
Yeah.
I'm confident that these things will be done. Some of them are being done already. About 44 forests have been reclaimed. And look, let me be very honest with you, that on Galamsey, I believe that we can do better. And all of these propositions I made in the past, I still stand by them. Look, at the ministry, when given the opportunity, I hold here the KPIs. This is the first time in the history of our country that the foreign ministry has come up with KPIs for our ambassadors. All our high commissioners and ambassadors, our envoys, must meet these targets. And if you fall short, it's now in the appointment letters that the president signed. It is basis for you to be dismissed. I wish we replicate this in the regions and the districts and have Galamsey there, where if in 6 months you are not able to stop Galamsey, it means you are complicit. So these are positions I hold dear. I still believe in them. Look, if we cannot be decisive, if we can't have conviction, if we cannot say that, look, there are some things that money, material gain should not get in the way. Politics should not get in the way. Then, then it's not worth being Africa, the only country so far approached in West Africa by the Americans. And we thought that, look, West Africans already under the ECOWAS protocol can visit any country visa-free, stay for 90 days. So, on principle, on humanitarian grounds, Pan-African solidarity, let us accept our fellow West Africans. And let's make the point that Ghana is your home. We are not going to allow you to
accept them
distressed.
to keep them here, or accept them to send them back to their countries.
So the choice is theirs, really. For 90 days, if they want to stay here, they can stay. But so far, all of them have indicated that they want to go back after some time, and we've been facilitating that. I can reveal to you that we are expecting another 40.
Another 40?
Another 40 in the next few days.
Of which nationalities?
West Africans. The understanding we have is that it will be West Africans. And don't forget that...
Do you vet them?
Yes.
Before they...
But
really?
as the discussions continue...
But, honorable,
yeah. If it is elevated to an agreement...
The Guantanamo 3, some people took the matter to court. And I think the Supreme Court held that whatever name you give it, when two countries come up with an arrangement, that places obligations on both of them. Whether you call it a treaty, a contract, it requires ratification. It was a majority decision. Only one person dissented. So I'm a bit surprised you're saying because it's an MOU, it means that it oughtn't have gone to Parliament. The judgment was very clear on the Guantanamo 3, that Article 75 was violated, which says international agreements must go through Parliament. And you are a 4th MP, so at least you could have gone to Parliament. And you have a massive majority. So what's the problem?
No, I agree with you. And that is why I said at the press conference I held a couple of days ago that when this is elevated beyond an MOU and it's a full agreement, we will go to Parliament under Article 75 and have it ratified. At this point, it is just a loose understanding.
The agreement is enforced. But how can you enforce? How can you enforce something you call a loose agreement? The thing is already enforced. You've brought 14. You're bringing 40.
Look, I've inherited so many MOUs that didn't go to Parliament for ratification, and
But because of the precedent of the Gitmo 3, I felt like this was, and you know this. So is it an oversight? Are you going to apologize for it, or you don't think it's a mistake?
No, it's not an oversight because we sought the Attorney General's advice. It was discussed in cabinet, and the Attorney General's advice and his counterpart, the Attorney General on the U.S. side, also said that look, this is an MOU. And MOUs do not require ratification. That is why... The Attorney
General is wrong because the judgment is clear. I can read it.
Oh, you know better law than the Attorney General?
At least the law is there for all of us to read. Unless the English reading of what the Supreme Court said is different.
You see MOUs in that judgment?
The language of Article 75 is perfectly clear. The article forms part of the set of provisions governing the role of the executive arm of government in Ghana's international relations. I'm reading the judgment. Yeah. The scope of the article deals with treaties in general. The side notes and the body of the text makes reference to treaties, agreements, and conventions. It is also clear that the instruments referred to relate to Ghana's international relations with other countries or groups of countries, and the article requires that such instruments must be ratified by Parliament. The Constitution makes no mention of any formal distinctions that are dependent on the formality with which such an instrument is formatted or brought into being. Then it goes on to even list MOUs, etc. This is the judgment. This is a Sophia Kufu. I'm not the one saying it. So I don't know whether you're saying because the AG says, in fact, if the argument of the defendant in the state, the government, were to be taken seriously, that the transaction being by way of note verbal, executive agreement, memorandum of understanding, diplomatic note, or what have you, is merely an administrative one, then the question arises as to the exact status of the said persons now that they are in Ghana. Are they migrants? It's a long argument. It basically says, once two countries agree on something of that nature, Parliament must ratify. It's very clear.
We are working with the Attorney General's advice, and the Attorney General's advice is that when this is elevated to an agreement, it can be ratified. At this point, there's no need for
your nas.
So the
Spouse.
Speaker, no. Okay.
The spouse.
Okay.
And into bracket, which actually said carer.
Okay.
Just all the Kofi Kuno.
Okay.
Dr. Prince Kofi Pambu, head parliamentary clinic. Papa ne yare. You didn't call hospital to Dubai. The whole Parliament of Ghana, so do I head of parliamentary clinic?
Also come.
Yes, also could be.
Okay.
Miss Patience Bagbin.
Okay.
Speaker's Secretariat.
Okay.
Mr. Justice Novo. Speaker's Aid.
You.
Just what we do.
There be Okoheno Yare.
Okoheno Yare. Ne yere ka ho. And Patience Bagbin, the way buseni. And the whole of Parliament, the head is also Dr. Prince Kofi Pambu ka ho. And the Speaker, the Aid Justice Novo also ka ho.
At the expense of the state.
At the expense of the state.
In fact, Yera Mahama should be the
the backward the last 2021.
Yera Mahama ebedi ade okui ye huni Basharaf say na ote presidential jet nim. Em so ba ko Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Ko Kenya. Na nyina ihu Sharaf say we den ote mu bi. But okoe no when the born hoka.
Oh, that's a begusa.
Anya state na born hoka.
What the door will nyabwa that begusa.
Enti no ya fasa kwan so amma mi ya yi na di ya na yekujina Ghana ba association ni mu a afi ni yedi Ghana ba association for no yedi o matem
Gwaku
in their faces
na Dr. Dobdika yine me share one more omo ministers na omo am disappointed in them na on waka ho waka sembi na awre ho say Ghana ba association no mo ayine conference ni nra wose Asemba enisi ema foreign associations ebe interfere ewo your local politics and I say a local governance mu said nyina na ye friend say is it Commonwealth Bar Association for extra bar say ade aga na ban ye
mame no
enye waka salam anaba pay selective amnesia na aka no ana Ghana ban etia Israel for atu bomb akoto kata ye ben ho ye Israel for ye kata for omo Africa
omo kwebe ne no mo
omo ECOWAS omo ni Commonwealth enso so Okudzeto ablakwa etro kata on behalf of the Republic of Ghana
ediko condemn Israel for Israel for Commonwealth Bar Association no Ghana for a can ECOWAS Ghana for a can it has a Commonwealth is a Libya country bia it be can be ECOWAS country it be can be by Yamusa who say Ghana and the Qatar Association ben a wentem Ghana and Israel a year joining and members of UN what actually put Abria Ghana buying under the Sino-Hydro deal.
Yes.
Any China focus sign agreement. Say a bemo bauxite. Na almost maye sikania di be develop acquiring bridges near the one can send this for truck IMF for say. Omo describe the agreement say a loan.
I have a do I remember.
A sovereign state is say Ghana. Any sovereign state, they say China. I hear a deal. Who free? Who and then external interference.
Dabi.
Then external interference. Say most sort of call. In fact, I'm not sure we have na Idrisu. SFI Ghana ha. Echo Britain Wood for no ho. I will hook up one man. Yes, sir. I'm going to describe it, sir. Agreement. They say a loan. Then you butter. But na dear. And I'm who say response. But them say. A bear positive mama no so wo hwe ba bia e ba ni nyina na e san na che de nya ne kwan preko
yes
petition me san kwa ye hwe nti ni nyina